Welcome to the Poor Man's Retro Game Room. And you know, with 713 games or around that in the Sega Genesis library, I doubt if you have played them all. So today I wanted to give you 5 games that are, in my opinion, overlooked in the Sega Genesis library. So without further ado, let's get started. Back in 1992, you know, when Electronic Arts was cool, they actually released a good game. They released several good games for the Sega Genesis, actually. Crew Ball is one of them. Man, if I could count all the hours that I played this and put into this, just chilling out, relaxing, and playing a video pinball game after work, yeah, there'd be a lot of hours. This game makes very good use of the Sega Genesis hardware. I love the music. They're featuring 3 different songs from Motley Crue that they did, and it was Dr. Feelgood, of course, Live Wire, and Home Sweet Home. This game really did kind of get a bad rap back in the day. It's a good video pinball game. A lot of people had said that it was generic, and it got criticism because it wasn't actually going after the Motley Crue license at first. They wanted to get the Headbangers Ball license from MTV, but that did not work out. So they settled for the next best thing, and they went with Motley Crue. And I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a different type of pinball game. And yeah, what other system would you be able to play a Motley Crue pinball game on? Yeah, that's right, none. The Sega Genesis, you know, I'm sorry to say this, all you Nintendo kids that watch the channel, and you know, don't take this personal or anything, but when it comes to Motley Crue and Crew Ball, the Genesis did what the Nintendo don't. It did, unfortunately. But I had a lot of fun with this game, and very cool game, and one of those games that you could only play on the Sega Genesis back in the day. Now, not every game on this list is going to be an exclusive, but this one is, and I really enjoy it. So I highly recommend picking up Crew Ball if you ever see it out in the wild, or if you love video pinball games. I am a sucker for mech games, and this one's a good one. You may not have heard of it. BattleTech for the Sega Genesis. It was released in 1994. It was developed by Malibu. The game was also released for the Super Nintendo, but it's called MechWarrior 3050. And this is one case where the Sega Genesis, it plays better on the Genesis than it does the Super Nintendo. The Genesis hardware tended to handle shooting games better. It tended to handle sports games better, in my opinion. And BattleTech here has a better frame rate than MechWarrior 3050 on the Super NES. So before you head out to your battlefield, you're going to be able to pick your loadout here, which is a really cool option. There's several different things that you can do, and it affects how much ammo you have. As you see, as I'm selecting the different loadout, you know, it might be a weaker weapon, but it might have more ammo. So you just kind of got to find out, you know, what you like to use. You'll pick up ammo and coolant along the way. Coolant basically heals your mech. You will contend with ground troops. You will contend with other mechs like this one right here. And you will also see a jet laying down fire to protect that mech. So you've got, you know, the overhead jet coming down on you as well. If you like games like Jungle Strike, you know, that genre of games, BattleTech is for you, man. And if you like mech games, this is a good one, and it's on the Sega Genesis, and actually the price for this game is cheap. The game can be very difficult at times, but once you get the hang of the controls, it gets much better. It is worth putting some time into. It also has like a very good size map screen, so you can pull up your map and you can see all your objectives. It's very cool. This game is an excellent game, and I think since it was released in 1994, a lot of people missed out on it. So I highly recommend BattleTech for the Sega Genesis.
Enemy mech approaching.
When you pop in X-Men 2 Clone Wars into your Sega Genesis, you are dropped right into the game. No title screen, no nothing. You're dropped in, and you better be ready to go. You got to get through this first level to even get to the title screen, and it's pretty cool, man. I mean, the first time I played this, I popped it in, I was just kind of blown away. This is an excellent X-Men game, and it's an excellent superhero game, period. You can choose from Beast, Cyclops, Gambit, Nightcrawler, Psylocke, Wolverine, and Magneto is unlockable after the third level. As you can see, there's big sprites. I don't know, it's just a really well done game. And of course, each of those different characters that you can pick have different powers. And you can use those powers often. You just have to wait for them to kind of recharge. But it's pretty cool, man. You can use them almost at will. Challenging game for sure. It is. But it's not cheap when it comes to the difficulty department, just like the other games we discussed on this list. And if you play, once you put some time into it, and I kind of play maybe one or two characters when I first got it, so that I could kind of learn them. That's a good idea, and some of those characters are going to be a little better in different areas and against different enemies, of course. Yeah, big sprites, great graphics, really good use of the Sega Genesis color palette, and a game that was later in this life cycle of the Sega Genesis, so they really knew the boundaries and what they could do and ways to get around things. So it's a very polished, very well-made game. I highly recommend X-Men 2 The Clone Wars for the Sega Genesis. And another Electronic Arts game, before Electronic Arts sucked. They made some good games for the Sega Genesis. They weren't afraid to think out of the box and make some unique games. And this is a very unique game. Mutant League Football is very different. You do not have to be a football fan to like this game. There are various different fields that you can choose to play on. There's a lot of different hazards that litter the field, like landmines, fire pits, and other things. Teams also have a special, nasty audible or dirty play that they can call. Each team can bribe the ref twice per game. You can kill your opponent on the field, and if you kill enough of your opponents on the field, they actually have to forfeit the game. Each team has kind of that nasty audible, and it does things like it'll make the football explode, it'll give you invincibility, electric shock, there's jetpacks, or when you hit the quarterback, you hit him with the intent to actually kill the quarterback. When you're running with the ball and you have the ball and you get killed, you do fumble the ball. And that kind of makes sense. If you were to explode on the football field, you would not still be able to hold on to the ball. Very, very unique game, and really a cool game that you could only play on the Sega Genesis back in the day. It was built on the Madden 93 engine. But like I said, you do not have to be a football fan to enjoy this game. It's simpler. There's not as many guys on the field as you would have in Madden 93, and just a blast to play. So I highly recommend, if you ever get a chance to get Mutant League Football, or play it any way you can, I highly recommend Mutant League Football for the Sega Genesis. Mega Turrican, I believe, was overlooked by a lot of people because of the late release. It was released in 1994, and it was developed by Factor 5 and of course marketed by Data East. It's a very good run and gun game that I completely missed out on back in the day. I got it later in life and was actually discovered it and just really enjoy it. The Super Nintendo has a very good Turrican game on it as well. Super Turrican, that's an excellent game as well. Both games are really great and I can recommend both of them. But I do have to give the edge to Mega Turrican. And you know, it's a pretty pricey game right now, but there's a lot of ways to play Mega Turrican, including a release of all the best Mega Turrican or Turrican games that have been released on all the modern platforms, so that's an option. Emulation is always an option, and there are some reproductions out there of this game that are high quality. There's several different weapons that you can collect. You can upgrade those weapons, and every time you collect basically the same icon for the weapon, it upgrades it. There's some really good boss fights, good enemies, and you know, stuff in this game blows up really nicely. It goes boom, very cool. So I can highly recommend Mega Turrican. I would say play it any way you can. And you know, Super Turrican as well, and Super Turrican 2, both of those are excellent games as well. But you know, Mega Turrican just has that Sega Genesis sound to the sound effects and the music and the graphics. It's just a gritty Sega Genesis game that I highly recommend. So Mega Turrican for the Sega Genesis, and I believe it is overlooked. I hear about it now and then, but I don't hear about it a lot as being, you know, one of the great games on the Sega Genesis. So I highly recommend Mega Turrican for the Sega Genesis. Well, there you have it. 5 games that I think are overlooked for the Sega Genesis. Do you have some games that you would like to add to that list? Some games that you think are overlooked for the Sega Genesis? I would love to read about them. I know everybody watching this video would. If you could put those in the comments, that would be great. Terrific. So thank you very much for joining me today. And you know what? If you like this content and you're not subscribed, consider doing a big old roundhouse kick to that subscription button. Or if you really like the content, you could climb to the top of the turnbuckle, point to the heavens, and do a big old flying elbow drop on that bell. And you know what? If you really like this video, you could do a big old stinky leg drop right on that like button. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you have a safe and great rest of your day.